Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel, Reading Ideas. I've been tagged. I've been tagged. I've been tagged by Emily at the Linguists Library and Stuart at Stuart Griffin 1001. Two great channels, doing well, great book recommendations, very passionate about what they're reading. So feel free to go and check them out. The Christmas music tag is an original tag by Daniela at Uncommon Reader and Reney and Raina at Beyond Books WT5IL. So I'll put the links underneath. This tag was created in honour of Reney's first Booktube Anniversary and their shared fondness of Christmas. Okay, so let's have there's 8 tags and a 9th extra one if you want to go through it. So I'll put the tag details at the bottom and I'll tag a few people, and of course anybody feel free to join in. Okay, so the first one, Joy to the World. A book that brings you so much joy you wish the whole world would read it. Right, now, my first thought was, there's no books on joy. No book is joyful all the way through. There's Jeopardy. There's Jeopardy and then perhaps it all comes good in the end. But there's no books on joy, surely. Everything, all the classics. It's got to be a bit of Jeopardy. Then I thought, what about joke books, comedy books, that kind of thing? So what book has brought me joy? So one of my very first tags was on this book tags. One of my first book reviews was on this book. So if you've been there from the start, you'll recognise it. If not, this might be new to you. So this book, just in time for Christmas. So a good stocking filler. Yeah. Potty, Fartwell and Knob. Extraordinary but true names of British people by Russell Ashe. So these are all names out of that people have come that he's picked up from newspapers or out of birth and deaths that go back for quite some time. So there's quite a few fannies in and things like that. So here's the names on the back, and then I've just got one little section. Gladys Friday, Minnie Cooper, Peter Piddle, Emma Chiswick. That's quite a northern thing. Emma Chiswick, be about £3.50. Norman Conquest, Nutty Haddock. There's some quite rude ones. I'm trying not. Emma Royds. Piggy Banks. I would love to meet Piggy Banks, wouldn't you? Paige Turner. Nora Bone. I really have kept away for some quite rude ones there. Yeah. So there's different sections of names. What I quite liked was the Puritan names. So even biblical names were not considered sufficiently pure by Puritan extremists, so they gave their children virtue names, such as humiliation and mercy, or slogans, fly fornication, seek wisdom. They were especially prevalent in Kent, Sussex and Northamptonshire. Among Sussex Puritans in the parish of Warbleton, almost half the children baptised between 1570 and 1600 received such names. A few girls' names, including Felicity, Joy, and Prudence, have survived in the British name stock, but most have not. This one stuck in my mind. Nicholas, if Jesus Christ had not died for thee, thou hadst been damned Barbidon. That's his name. Born London, 1640. Died Hostelry, Middlesex, 1698. Son of Praise God, Barbon, after whom the Barebones Parliament was named, and following the Great Fire of London in 1666, the inventor of fire insurance. He used the name Nicholas Barbon. Fear Brewster, born Scrooby, Nottinghamshire, 1586. Fear and her siblings, Patience, Love, and Wrestling, were among the Pilgrim Fathers who emigrated to America in 1620 aboard the Mayflower. She died in Massachusetts on, try not to do Bee Gees there, on 12th of December 1634. US President Zachary Taylor was a descendant of Fear. The Little Women author, Louisa May Alcott, the singer Bing Crosby, and the actress Katharine Hepburn were all Brewster descendants. How about that? Bet you didn't know that. Or maybe you did. Potty, Fartwell and Knob, a book that brings joy. It certainly made me laugh. Let It Snow. Whoops, Let It Snow. Okay. A book that takes place in a snowy, cold environment. Right, something a bit different. The Forgotten Soldier by Guy Sajer. Really good book about the Second World War, Russian front. He was a German soldier, but he wasn't German. Where was he from? Was he Dutch or Serbian or something? So, and, on the Russian front, in the snow, tough. So really good read. Just soldier, wasn't a member of the SS or anything, so yeah, it's the soldier's experience. Really good book, that. Plenty of snow and frostbite and the like. 3. You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. A book with a mean character or one that you didn't like. Okay, so it was a mean character can't get further than Mr. Hyde in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. What a fabulous book that is. Short book, but very densely written. And what a character, Mr. Hyde. Thoroughly recommend that. You've probably already read it. Santa Claus is Coming to Town. A book releasing soon that you can't wait to read. I don't really buy new books. The newest kind of books that I've bought are everything by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. Modern philosophy, numbers, probability, just about a modern philosophy of life. Brilliant, absolute, real life genius. Fooled right by randomness, the hidden role of chance in everyday life and the markets. Absolutely brilliant. Antifragile. So, yeah. Oh, very, very, very good. Very good book. Genius, I'm telling you. The Black Swan. So, not predicting when, but he made a fortune predicting, the collapse of markets. Very, 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 very good. And Skin in the Game. Brilliant modern philosophy. definitely worth checking out if you are into that kind of thing. 12 Days of Christmas, a book of short stories. Now that naughty Emily, she pinched Hemingway off me. Yeah, so, Hemingway short stories, absolutely brilliant, but also very, very good. Maupassant. When you read it, what was this? He was born in 1850. You read it, it's kind of like, well, that's modern. It's not like hand-wringing Victorian. It's kind of almost, sometimes I think, are they kind of real people, made up people? You don't get to the inner person, quite as easy. They don't wear their heart on the sleeves, do they? Maupassant feels more relatable. Nothing wrong with Victoriana, but more realistic, if you like. Very, very good, Maupassant. Very, very good. The Little Drummer Boy, a book that brings back childhood memories. Now, I can't give you the name of this book, but if I think back, maybe somebody will be able to come up with it. I can remember being at school and there was a school library and I had never really bothered with books, but I think some teacher must have sent us along and we had to pick out a book. And I wasn't really into it, and in kind of desperation I saw some book and it was about bees. And I picked up this book, and just kind of read it. Normally we'd be reading in class. Parents didn't read much at home. I didn't really read much at home. So it would normally be somebody reading out in class and you'd be hating if it was your turn and all that kind of thing. But this was, reading on your own, and it was a book about bees, and there was a hive. And if I remember it rightly, because it's a very long time ago, a queen bee came into the hive and took over, got rid of the other queen, and it was, will it be a success or will it not be? And I found this absolutely fascinating. I can remember, that book on bees, being really surprised that I was enjoying it, almost thinking, I'm reading, should I be enjoying this? And it was kind of like, no, don't be daft, yeah, you are. So, yeah, finished it, absolutely loved it. And I can remember going back to the library and, trying to find books as equally as good. I think I went through a couple that weren't as good, but obviously I've stuck with it ever since. Right, Deck the Halls, a book that has a party scene or takes place over a holiday. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's a play, Abigail's Party, or read it. Oh my good gosh, that is so cringy. Oh, what? Check that out if you want to cringe. Abigail's Party by Mike Lee. 8. Frosty the Snowman, a book with a character who is cold or calculating. Right. Okay, so I've just started. Where are we? Oops, there. I have just started. I'm partway through Ubik by Philip K. Dick. Now, I've not finished it, but the character in here, Pat, is a cold, calculating character, isn't she? Don't know how it turns out, but she is very cold and calculating. But, so because I've not finished it, very famous, cold, calculating character, the Count of Monte Cristo. Edmond Dantes, the main character. He's cool and calculating, isn't he? Very, very famous story. Read that for the first time this year. If I remember rightly, 1,243 pages, I think. very different experience being with a book for so long. Excellent book. You know, it's probably a good idea that, you know, people get around to reading it at least once in a lifetime. Alexandra Dumas, Count of Monte Cristo. Right, 9 to finish off a Christmas tradition. Visiting family. An early Christmas tradition is get out the Christmas plates. So all meals off lovely spode Christmas tree plates. So I used to work in the pottery industry, and that's the start of the Christmas season for us. And they come out and start a Christmas tradition. It used to be not really reading like a specific book over Christmas. When I was younger, it was watching the film The Great Escape. But for a good few years now, family tradition is watching the film Love Actually. Great sitting down, watching that together. Right, so I'll get on and tag a few people. So hopefully people will take part. So thanks Emily and Stuart for tagging me in that. Much appreciated. And thanks Daniela and Reney and Raina for creating a great tag. I hope I've come up with some nice answers and some ideas for you there. Check out that potty fart while I knob. Everybody likes a giggle.